everyone, welcome back to the Beach Quirk Podcast. The normal crew is back, and we're ready to talk to you about some awesome topics this week. We've got some new trademark names at Pokemon we want to talk to you about, maybe some new sets coming out. Of course, we got Birmingham and Rio regionals this weekend in Brazil and UK. So we'll give you a little bit of our thoughts. We're not going to go too deep into it. You know, we know where the meta is, and we'll have an in-depth breakdown of San Antonio next week, excuse me. But what we do want to talk about today, and it's one of our main topics, is it's about halfway through the season. Let's take a look at the top 125 leaderboard, see what everyone's doing, see what's shaking out, and give you some more recommendations on what we think your point total should be if you're targeting top 125 in North America. My name is Eric Ridgway. As always, I'm joined by Max Corcoran and Parker Greenwald. Gentlemen, how was your weekend? What happened with you this weekend?
Not too much for me. I went to Palm Bay with my girlfriend and signed some papers because her son is starting preschool soon.
Nice.
There we go. Nice little
Is
drive.
that, is that 5 years old when that happens? Or
No, he's turning 3.
Turning 3, okay. Nice.
Eric started at 5 because he, needed a little more time to learn.
I
the
just
letters.
don't know these things yet because I haven't done enough research, so... But I'll know them soon.
You have a few years before you'll need that information. So
You can go at your own pace and stuff. Yeah.
Let's see. For me, weekend here is actually kind of busy. I'm moving into a new place, so I'm in a completely empty room besides boxes and a desk with my entire setup. So if anyone who's moved that's picking up the computer knows that that's just how you do it. Still getting everything else set up, but looking forward to kind of growing into this space and set up more spaces, have some of the gang over for some testing, for some European regional watch parties, brunch watch parties, and, test and build some decks and stuff like that. So it's exciting, very busy, and a lot to do, and I'm traveling a lot soon, so I don't know when we'll get done, but it will get done at some point.
Yeah, I was over helping you out on Friday, so congratulations. Welcome back to Jacksonville officially again. I know you've been here a lot, but we're happy to have you. I had a pretty busy weekend. I drove down to For Honor and Glory on Saturday to play in the Cup. Of course, I played the Kissing Dragon. I played the list without shoes because I'm trying to see if it will work and how I feel about that. Definitely felt some inconsistencies with no shoes a little bit, but I did make my way into Top Cut. I started 3-0 and hit a Guardy. And then it was a really close match. They came back and won it. And I kind of could have ID'd, but at the time my resistance wasn't very good. So I was like, I'm just going to have double win it in. Right. And then I got rewarded for that decision and hit a Regidrago the next round. And so I was able to beat them to make it the Top Cut. Got paired to the Raging Bolt Mirror. Went second game 1 after I won the coin flip. Won that one no problem. Game 2 didn't really go the way I needed to go because I started Greninja. And my plan was to just put Togepi down and pass. And that be my board. But I had no ball search, couldn't get to the ball search off the Greninja, had a bench 2-prizer, and they found the Prime Catcher. And it was kind of, from there, I kind of have to sit back and try to hope to pass. And they don't find the 2-prize knockout again, because then I have to go 3-3. That's my only win con from there. That didn't work. So I went to game 3, I went second, and it was Fez attached pass going second. So ended my run at that cup. That was pretty unfortunate. You got to take advantage of these opportunities. We'll talk about 125 later, but personally, I feel the pressure more and more every top cut I'm in, just because I know I have to get those finishes because those points matter so much. Every 10, 20 points can just matter. So I did that on Saturday. And then Sunday, today, for recording, we had the gender reveal of my baby. Maddox was able to make it out. Parker had to work. But without further ado, Parker, you don't know the answer to this yet, so I will tell you. We are having a boy.
That's why you wore the blue jacket.
Blue.
This is a green jacket, but yeah, that works too.
True.
But
for
yes,
anyone who's listening on an audio platform, Eric's jacket is clearly green to anyone that's watching.
No. It's about the same color as the beach court thing behind him, just from my view.
That's fair.
Which is blue.
That's fair.
Which is blue.
That's fair, actually. But anyways, yeah, it's a boy, so I'm excited. I was gonna be happy either way, boy or girl, as long as it's healthy. But of course, I'm way happier to have a boy, and we're gonna have a junior regional champion here in 2031. So
Heck yeah.
2031 when they're 6.
you can
Is that
play it when you're
is that the youngest
6.
age?
Yeah.
Man, I'd agree.
Stakes,
Gonna be
golly.
starting testing from day one.
Day
If-
one in the
Oh,
diapers,
your
bro.
thumbs work. Time for you to learn how to shuffle.
So time to start shuffling. Wait,
You
what
start,
if I
start
could
with
like
a pile
print?
shuffle, right?
Dude, what if I could print like miniature cards that they work their way up? You know,
Ooh,
like
there we go.
a deck of cards like this big and then this big and then like normal, like just work your way up. It's genius.
Instead of sucking on their thumb, they're ripple shuffling, right? Like,
That's funny. Anyway, so let's get into the Pokemon conversation. We got some news about some upcoming sets that may happen later this year. We already know Journey Together is coming out in March, and there was some Pokemon Center Madness that happened this week with that set. But we did get two new trademark names, Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave, which are rumored to be related to TCG. Maddox, why don't you tell us a little bit more about where we're going with this?
yeah, again, for anyone who didn't already see, there was a PokeBeach article that goes into details on this. Again, these early things are speculation, and it's just a trademark. This doesn't necessarily mean that anything's there, nor do we have any insight. But what past patterns have shown is that these two will eventually be, set names that for release. A lot of times, these are probably based out of Japan. They like to do the two sets kind of at the same time, back and forth. And again, we see Mega Brave, Mega Symphonia hinting at maybe Mega Evolutions returning to the game. So for anyone who has, played before, you might be familiar with Mega Evolutions, but also there's Pokemon Legends ZA, which is based out of the Kalos region, which originally featured Mega Evolutions for any video game heads. So since that game's coming out, some people are speculating that Mega Evolutions are going to be in that game. Actually, I think that they teased it in a trailer for Legends ZA way back when. But we don't know anything about the game yet, but we know that it's maybe happening, and we know that Mega Evolutions might be back. So Parker, as our resident, gym leader, expert of the game, want to pass it to you. And so for anyone who wasn't around when Mega Evolutions were in the game, what were they like in the TCG? And maybe do you think if they come back, they'll be the same?
I don't know. So back when I played Megas and stuff like that, they were two sets where they didn't have spirit links and you absolutely just had to skip your turn to Mega Evolve.
Yeah, so when you evolve, to evolve from an EX to a Mega EX, you had to end your turn.
The turn, yes. Your turn ended. That was the mechanic. And then they printed Spirit Links and Phantom Forces along with the Megas that came out with Electric and Gengar. And if you had the tool attached, you didn't have to skip the turn, but you could, you didn't need it to evolve. You could, evolve by skipping the turn, which was, less good, obviously, but you could only play 4 tools. I know a lot of people back then when the Spirit Lakes got released, they were like, oh, they should have just printed Mega Stone or something, like a generic item or generic tool that did the same thing, but you could use it on 2 different Megas because you could never play a deck with 2 different Megas because you'd have to play 8 tools, which 6 of those cards would just end up being dead cards for the most part. But I don't know.
And I think, well, I was
Oh,
going
go
to say,
ahead.
and without the Spirit Links, if you're playing 2 different Megas and you had to end your turn each turn, it's okay, my combo's Mega Blastoise and Mega Rayquaza. And then it's okay, I need both of them. So it's okay, turn 1, you bench the basics. Turn 2, you evolve 1. Turn 3, you evolve the other one. And then you start doing stuff turn 4. Especially these days, you could never get away with that.
Absolutely
Raging Bolt,
not.
meanwhile, is just a facade.
The game's over on your second evolution. Yeah, you just cooked. So I don't know if they'll do something like that. It was cool. I mean, a lot of the megas are cool. A lot of people love the art too. I really like the art where it has the English attack name on the Japanese card, going this way.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the English cards, it has the Japanese attack name going the exact same way. So I really like that too. It was cool. But the megas are all pretty cool. They all had pretty good attacks, a lot of health, which, 210 was huge back in the day, but now with your basic Vs that get knocked out the first turn have 210.
Yeah.
So
Well, actually,
Oh,
one thing I'm curious your thoughts on it because like the format where megas were around, it was like basic capital EX, right? So you
yeah.
Charizard EX was a basic Pokemon that you would just put into play, and then you could evolve it into a Mega Charizard EX. So like
Yeah.
since we're in like the lowercase EX era, I mean like I don't think the formats. I mean I don't know. Could we have a evolve into Charizard EX and then go into like Mega Charizard EX or in like I don't even know what that would be, or it'd be
I
like a
don't
level
know.
X or I'm curious what
Yeah,
other like. Go
it's
ahead.
kind of more like level X or I guess break. That was another mechanic. But I don't know. I think they'll probably do some like I think we'll be kind of in the mode of switching mechanics into something else. So I think it'll be probably like Pokemon Y or F or whatever letter combination they choose this to go. This is a basic, yeah, Charizard Y
All right,
evolves
because
into
we've
Mech.
done V for some reason.
Yeah, we
So,
did V and EX 3 times. Like, yeah, I don't know. They'll
yeah.
probably fix something.
And I guess we do see like sets go in kind of groups of three. So it's like we've had like lowercase EXs and like G, H, and I. So then if we get to like a J block, maybe there's like a, I don't know, your Blood Moon Ursaluna L or
Yeah.
Z or whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Yeah, I think it probably would be Z, honestly, if it does come out with the Legends of Z A game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't play at all during the Mega era, so like I don't know much about them. I mean, I guess what you're saying makes sense that they have to like take a whole turn to evolve unless you have a spirit link. I mean, because it's essentially an evolution, right? I mean, I'm being completely naive here. Is that how it is in the games too? Like it's an evolution, right? Or is it
It
or is it
is.
like or is it like the terrestrialization thing?
Well, in video
It's
games, it's
kind
a
of like
once
Terra.
per. Yeah, it's kind of like a Terra.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's like a once per game you can use your Mega Evolution. So I
Nope.
think as opposed to like I guess here they balanced it by. I mean, I guess back then they balanced it by saying, okay, it's such a powerful enhancement to your Pokemon that ends your turn, and it was kind of like breaks where you could use the previous evolution's attacks as a Mega, or
Mm.
no?
Oh,
No, you
Okay,
couldn't.
no, you couldn't. Yeah.
It
But
was actually just what was on the Mega.
okay, so I was thinking of level X.
so with the Terras, they've chosen to give us like, hey, they just print it and it's a Terra Pokemon. But
Yeah,
so like
Mega.
we,
No.
I guess we're thinking that with the Megas they won't do that. They'll kind of do what they did previously.
Yeah,
Okay.
For Megas,
probably.
it'll be like, oh, if you're a Mega, you don't take damage from ranged attacks.
It is so stupid, bro.
But people forget the Terra rule all the time.
I
So
hate that
Yeah.
rule. It is the
It,
dumbest rule
it's
ever.
such a little like it's like, oh, I have this cool play with this Ogre Positera.
yeah.
Yeah,
We were
like
talking about it even last episode. There's like, oh, this Pokemon hits all your EXs for 60 damage. Like, oh, wow, that's so cool. Except like more than half the EXs in the game right now are Terra, so it just doesn't do anything to them if they're on the bench. It's like, what are we doing, guys?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to see what happens. I mean, obviously, I like cool things, so like I'm down for getting a new game mechanic. Um, but we'll just have to see, how it goes. I mean, like talk about the gameplay back then. Parker was the gameplay good with like megas, or was it just, did you enjoy that format or?
So I started playing right at the tail end of Furious Fists, so that was before Spirit Links, and then Phantom Forces came out with the Spirit Links, and like Mega Manetric is like such a broken card, but it was just bad because like all the best decks in the format basically were fighting, so it just never really got its time to shine.
Because it was lightning, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just weak, and then your 20 damage is fighting attack actually hits for like 100 because you have strong energy, muscle band, fighting stadium, and it's like boom, 1 million damage right there for one energy.
Sure.
So that was hard. I think the game was good. There's Mega Ray, which I think has a very split opinion, but basically it had this ability. It had an ancient trait, which is different from an ability. It's just a static thing printed on the card.
It's kind of like
Where-
a Terra rule.
Yes, but it all had a bunch of different ones. That one had, if you have the evolution, you can evolve it on your first turn.
Right.
So going second, you could actually fill your entire bench, hit for 240, and you're
Thing.
yeah, this is pretty cracked.
Yeah, that sounds kind of correct.
Yeah, and you had Shaman, which was not a once per turn. Draw till you have 6 when you play it.
Crobat V, but it says just do it as many times as you want.
Yeah, you just do it 4 times, and you play Super Scoop up, pick it back up, play it again. Sometimes I was like,
A sidebar, I was watching a video today of like the Ionos Pokemon deck versus Raging Bolt. And like they would like evolve into the Watch Rail, Iono energy onto it, and then discard it and draw 6. And then a Watch Rail onto the other one, discard it, draw 6. Like they were drawing like 20 cards a turn with the Iono deck.
Wow,
Yeah.
that kind of reminds me of Fusion Strike System.
A Genesect.
All the trainers Pokemon are really just Mew VMAX, right? You have Enzora copying bench attacks. You have Watch Roll drawing until 6 every turn.
Shout out to the person in my Twitch chat today that was like, "Yeah, I just got back into the game, and the only deck I have is Mew VMAX."
Yeah.
And I was like, I got some bad news for you, but welcome back to the game.
Pick up a
Max.
Charizard League Battle deck, and they're literally like,
No, I just
They'll
told him.
probably
I
win
just
their
told him to
next
build
locals.
Raging Bolt.
just buy the $30 off the shelf.
Yeah, but if you like Mew VMAX, you'll like Raging Bolt. Hit for a lot, draw a lot of cards.
Fair enough.
Not all of
Mew
Pokemon now.
VMAX had more finesse.
Sure,
They
it
had
did.
Power
Judge
Tap.
Path. Judge.
Yeah, Judge
Judge
Path. You have
Path.
you have to play Sada. Sada's all for supporters. I play supporters for fun and then draw cards because I can, right? Like,
Anyways, I think that's gonna do it for our mega talk. But I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. I don't think we'll get those sets probably for a while. I mean, if
Yeah.
we're trademarking it right now, that probably won't happen until next season. We
Yeah, I'd
probably
have to
won't get
guess
mega this
November.
season, right? So
yeah, it might be
Yep.
like J Block unless they slap
Yeah.
it in like in the November set or something.
yeah,
But I know
Yeah.
there's already a few sets like, set for release and
Right.
trainers Pokemon. They're gonna ride that out for a good block probably. So
yeah, true.
we shall
So
see.
we gotta get the video game first. We don't have a release date for that yet. I don't think. I think it's like fall, but we'll see.
I need it.
Yeah, I'll maybe. You know what? I'm gonna say that I'm gonna play this one. This game is gonna come out and I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna attempt to play it.
So let me get this straight. The game's scheduled to be released around y'all's due date.
That's
and
why
before
I'm gonna have
Worlds.
time to play it. Duh.
I think that's possibly the time you'll have the least time ever to do anything.
Oh, the baby's gonna be right here, and I'll be like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, he'll be controlling where he walks. So
Yeah, it's fine.
And you'll
Trust.
be like, It's like, should I use a it's a strong boosted flame wheel or a technique
Tackle.
boosted? I forget all my Legends Arceus stuff. Sorry for anyone who was just offended by the statement I was trying to make.
Wow.
Anyways, let's move on to the next topic. We've got 2 major events this weekend. One is happening in Birmingham, United Kingdom, and the other is happening in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I wish I would have gone there because, like, I really want to go to Rio. Can they just please put LAIC in Rio? Because I would love to go. I thought they just couldn't host events there, and that's why they didn't have it. But now they're hosting events there. Like, can we just get LAIC in Rio?
Yeah.
Anyways, sidebar. So those are 2 major events happening in the current standard format in Surging Sparks that we have this weekend. We'd love to kind of give you a deep, in-depth breakdown, but we know it's going to amount to, hey, play what you're most comfortable with.
It's still good advice. That's the thing.
So anyways, I have put together some questions for Parker and Maddox to kind of like, pick their brains a little bit with what's changing in the meta. So I have some questions. Are you guys ready to answer my questions?
Yes.
Okay. Lately, there's been 2 kind of decks that are picking up some steam. The 2 decks are Gardevoir and Archaludon. Archaludon picked up some steam because it won in Japan, so everyone picked it up and was like, oh my god, this is good now. I know Ethan Wild has been playing it over in UK a lot, previously, and also said it's good. But from those 2 decks, I've got some questions related to just those 2 decks. Which of the 2 decks is most likely to make the top 6 meta graphic at either tournament this weekend?
I think I just got to go. I mean, I think Guardy is slam dunk there. I mean, our Archaludon is, I think, a solid deck. We're still seeing it. It just hasn't quite had that big finish in the West. I think until then, like we kind of need to see a deck perform at that level in order to see it get recognized. I think Gardevoir has a better chance to make the graphic just because there's a lot of history. People have the cards. People who like playing it, if they think it's going to be a good call, they'll show up with it. But also, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Guardy also didn't make the graphic in Birmingham. Rio De Janeiro, I don't think we'll get a graphic. But in general, like, the deck is good, but at the same time, people are scared about Drago, and it's going to take the really dedicated Gardevoir heads that will show up and play it. So if they're not there playing it, even if some of the best Gardevoir players don't think it's the play, then I can't expect the 6 or 7% of the room to also think it's the best play.
Yeah. What do you think, Parker?
I think people are just comfortable with Guardy. It's kind of like I'm not gonna say it's a deck that fades in and out of the meta because it just doesn't. It's just like always there, always has the threat of being good, is very good. It kind of just depends on what players decide to take it and how their routes go. But historically, it is just popular. It's a popular Pokemon too, which I don't really know if anybody likes our Charizard.
Yeah, I mean, but people love Dialga.
Sure, but not more than Gardevoir. If you
Really?
walk down the street and we're like, hey, which Pokemon do you like more? It'd be like overwhelming. They're dead for it.
Okay, so you both think that Gardevoir has a better chance of making top 6 graphic in both tournaments?
On the graphic, yes.
Okay.
My guess, I don't even think Guardy makes the graphic at either.
You don't think
maybe
either?
Birmingham. I mean, again, we don't have a graphic for Rio De Janeiro.
Sure,
so
but like maybe we get meta, right? But yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of, my sense, because I kind of like follow online meta a lot, my sense is that Archaludon's getting a lot of really good finishes online.
Yeah.
And Gardevoir has been getting a lot of finishes before this as well. But no one's playing it because they can't really beat Drago consistently. And it seems like, for the most part, people think Archaludon can beat Dialga somewhat consistently.
Wait, so Archaludon can beat Regidrago?
Yeah, Archaludon, sorry. Well, I'm not sure what I said. Yeah, Archaludon can beat Regidrago a little bit consistently. And so for that reason, I could see Archaludon squeezing in at number 6 in Birmingham. I could definitely see it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so same question. Same 2 decks. Which will have the higher finish this weekend across both tournaments? Parker, you first.
Well, I think Guardy has a good finish in Europe, and then neither of them finished spectacularly in Latin America.
I'm just checking on the stats here. I mean, I'm trying to look at I can't even remember how to spell. How do you spell Archaludon? I mean, again, like Gardevoir is the deck that we've seen with success. Like I need to see Archaludon succeed in the West before I can really, consider, right? Lucas got 9th with it at Toronto, but that, like, in terms of other placements, I mean, Stuttgart, we saw top 32, but it hasn't passed the top 32. If this is the tournament where it breaks out and has a top 8, love that. Love that for Dialga and Archaludon enjoyers. But if I had to like put all my money on one deck, making finals or potentially winning the whole thing, Gardevoir.
Okay. So for those of you going to both of these tournaments this weekend, sounds like both our group is kind of respecting Gardevoir, and you should be too.
Well, I don't even know if I'm respecting it. I just think that it's the stronger. I think in a vacuum, it's just the stronger deck.
Of course.
Like Archaludon, it's good with saying, okay, hey, I'm tanky, and if I find boss, I can just go like take your 2 prizes. But
yeah,
when you're just saying, hey, I'm Gardevoir, and I can blow you up with Drifloon, and the people who play that deck are very good. So I don't think either will have a super high play rate, but just Gardevoir, it's that. It's that it has that caliber of deck, right? No one's talking about Ceruledge as saying, oh, could Ceruledge win this tournament? It's like, no, not really. Could Gardevoir win this tournament? For sure. Archaludon, I don't think it's proven it itself yet.
Oh no, I've been playing Archaludon quite a bit. It's got like I feel like every matchup feels bad, but you still just win somehow. Like, I don't know. I was like, I play against Guardy. I'm like, they're just one-shotting my guy, and then like I made a big like jamming tower, like a big huge swing in the middle of the game and was able to win. But I feel like it's like oh, this seems bad. Bolt seems bad. Zard seems bad. Moon seems bad. I don't know, but
Just the format we're
definitely,
in right now,
yeah.
huh? Okay, so speaking of bad, well, not really about bad because there's just Control got top eight in Toronto, but Control is a format. It's kind of a deck that people will not really test against, not respect, and it really hasn't shown up in a big way. And we've kind of thought that maybe Snorlax would have its way this format a little bit, but it seems like it's been held in check by like cloth decks and even some Turbo Moons and some Ancient Box playing Petcherents. But kind of why has Control not succeeded this format? Oh, and like hasn't gotten that major win? And then additionally, what's the best form of Control in this format?
I think like the answer to that is kind of just like Drago's been so big, and not like that Drago washes it or anything, but like you can just conserve your resources enough to like just win like almost every game with Drago, outside of like them hitting the absolute nuts off like Misfortune Sisters or something like that. Like you can always just kind of play just enough to like barely squeak it out a win for the most part. Um,
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. I mean, like Reggie Drago is definitely a threat to Pidgeot Control, just because if they can get going early, it's a deck that can just run them off the board.
yeah,
Snorlax at the same time, I know that we've seen some new iterations of it. We've seen Hay leaning on heavier Klefki builds, really playing it a bunch of different ways to try to capitalize and overcome Cloth and overcome these Petron decks, and still not quite getting there. I think the answer that kind of comes down to, I view it as like two parts. One is the meta is so wide that it's hard for these decks to go in and say, hey, I have a game plan for every single matchup, because like there's like 14 decks to beat right now. So, it's hard to build one deck that can properly cover for all of those, as well as just set up and play consistently. The other thing that I think is kind of leaned into that's taken some like the meta share is Iron Thorn's Dragapult, where that deck is really like leaning into this disruption angle. We're saying, hey, I can disrupt and slow you down. I'm even playing the Toad Scroll. I'm playing Iron Thorns, and like, it takes some control aspects to really slow down the game and just build up a powerful board behind it. So I think some of the decks are favoring that, where they say, hey, this does a little better into the, it's kind of like I get a Pidgeot controller or Snorlax. It's like I don't have that much time to win the game. I can normally solve them for a few turns with Iron Thorns. Say, hey, I can Iron Thorns for like 2 or 3 turns in a row, slow down my opponent enough, and now I'm set up and can, overcome what they have set up. And that's maybe a better tech and like way to handle decks across the board in this wide of a meta. So I think anyone like leaning towards those control archetypes could probably, would probably enjoy that, Thorin's Pult. And right now it's just hard to have your control deck beat everything.
Yeah, it is a really wide meta. Go ahead, Parker. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say like as a Pidgeot control player, like not that I've played it, but like it seems like it's just really terrifying. Like if you go second against Drago and they like go boss Rotom, kill your Pidgey, like you have to like find everything for the next like few turns, just raw having it, and it's just like not feasible. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Like
No, and I think the other point here too is like the decks are good, right? Snorlax and Pidgeot Control are good decks. But when you get towards those top tables, like you're playing the best players in the room, and they know how to play against you. So, right, so if you're that, Pidgeot Control player, right, in top 8 of Toronto, hit a Reggie Drago and lost. Again, like the players that you're hitting at that point, like they know the matchup, like they know how to play it. You're not you're not at those top tables, even, pushing the top 32, top 64, like top 16, like people there know how to play the matchup, so you can't really get away with it. If your deck is less consistent or not as teched for matchups as it should be, it's harder to recover from that.
Right. So what's our consensus on what the best form of control is? If you were going to play a control deck this weekend to Birmingham or Rio, if you were going, what deck are you choosing?
probably just some kind of maybe like the cornerstone thing. I don't know. I
The
think probably
Cornerstone
like
Mimikyu deck?
yeah, I think just like Cologne does seem to be on the decline. I mean, like Drago still plays it, but like maybe the Goldengos that cut Palkia don't play it anymore, and like that kind of stuff. Like I think like that might be the best form, and then plus like just going, DTE sob your guy is like good. Like I think too.
If it were me, I'd probably lean towards a one prize Snorlax build, where you're leaning
Same.
on Clef Keys
Yeah.
and Snorlax, and just saying. And again, and I'm not really a control player. I just seen that one has some success, and again, it gives you time when you don't have the 2 prize liabilities in play. You have more time. You have more chance to hit the flutes and hit your counter catchers. You just have to maintain your resources throughout, and just again, okay, you can let them take 5 knockouts. You just can't let them take the 6th one, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
you have to play for, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'd probably lean towards like a Klefki Snorlax build as well.
Yeah.
So speaking of time and needing time to kind of play the game and build up your resources, we've got a lot of stage 2 decks that like to play stage 2s in their deck. We got Charizard, Gardevoir, any other decks like that. I'm blinking because my head's terrible. But anyways, what's the best stage 2 deck? If you're going to play a stage 2 deck to one of these events this weekend, what's the best option for a stage 2 deck?
I want to say Charizard, and like hear me out. So like Charizard and Thorns, I think are more popular in Latin America.
Mm-hmm.
So like those kind of decks. So I think Zard's a pretty good play there. Birmingham. I don't know. So didn't Zard just win the last regional over there? I think so.
Yeah.
So Arnie's list.
Yeah, Arnie.
Yeah, Arnie.
Is that
Yeah,
that was
like-
Stuttgart. Yeah, that was a while ago at this point.
Like that was in a format full of Dragos. Like
Yeah.
maybe they can do it again type
Yep.
thing. I don't know. I would probably have to pick Zard to go there, or like maybe Thorns Cold.
Yeah, I love me some Thorns Pull.
Yeah, I guess Gardevoir you could also maybe consider a stage 2 deck. It operates a little bit differently.
Oh,
where
it's
you're
a
not
stage
really
2
playing
deck.
stage
Yeah,
two.
for
Definitely
sure.
a stage 2 deck.
Still probably not my pick. I gotta go with Parker here too. I mean, Charizard is just too. Again, this deck is too inherently strong. Yes, you do have some problematic matchups, but also like Ready Drago isn't like an auto loss or anything. If you hit a Thorns, it's kind of annoying. But if it's Thorns Pult, they kind of have to eventually start, benching other guys, and that gives you an opening. I think the deck is just solid across the board. And again, with a wider meta, Charizard is like good into most things. So it's, when you have a format that this wide, it's not like, oh, well, we have a format of 12 decks and like 8 of them are good into Charizard. It's like, well, no, it's like there's like 2 or 3 or 4 of them are good into good to okay into Charizard. And
Yeah.
Charizard can roll over the rest of them. So yeah, Charizard. I wouldn't be surprised if Arnie ran it back and made a deep run with another Charizard deck.
Yeah. Yeah, my answer is definitely Thorns Pull. I think the deck is very, very strong. And if you're looking for a control-y stage 2 deck, like you said, Max, earlier, that's the one that it kind of controls your opponent's abilities a little bit while you're building up your stage 2. And I like it because you have really big 6 prize turns. I'm surprised none of you said Lugia. We play stage 2s in Lugia.
I mean,
That's just not the play.
to be fair, I did not consider that. But also, Lugia is always broken until it isn't.
Until it isn't, yeah. So
Buzzar's
flipping
always broken.
the other side of that, what's the best turbo deck for this tournament? I'm sorry, Parker. Did you say something?
Oh, I said Bolt. Sorry, I don't know if I like picked it up. I don't know. Maybe Moon.
I mean, I think Cloth Tropicos also was
I
considered a
guess
turbo
that
deck,
is a turbo
right?
deck. Yeah, I guess that is a turbo deck. So I guess that would be my pick.
I said it because I know you love that deck and you've been playing it a good bit.
I guess it is a turbo deck.
I mean, it is, right? I mean, it attacks on its first turn, right? So it has to be a turbo deck, right?
If you draw well, yeah, I guess that's just the same as all other
If you
decks,
draw
but-
well, if you just have Arvin and draw into a
I-
double turbo, you're fucking.
I can't believe I
Almost-
need to get Oranguru V into the active, and that's it.
I almost never attack going second with that deck for whatever reason.
You gotta play 2 Luminion.
I have seen that. Yeah, I don't own two Luminion though.
I can
Let's
give
go,
you
like,
yours
walk
back.
through
It's still
for
in my
you.
deck if you want it.
It's because each of us have yours, and we don't back.
I still have
Oh,
your
my-
Luminion. Remember that?
No, I don't even remember all that.
Yeah, I still have your Luminion.
So real quick, we'll talk big brain money moves from Parker. Right back, when Charizard was early, when Charizard was a $100 deck, Parker was like, hey, yeah, he was selling his deck. So I bought his Charizard deck and had all the pieces there. And then now you get a League Battle deck for like $30-$40. So,
money moves.
Money moves. But Turbo deck for me, Parker mentioned it, but I'm going Turbo Moon. Again, being able to use Judge is just like, I think Judge is very, very good right now in the format. And I think people innovating with the Baby Pecharunt as a way to say, hey, I'm going to knock out your single prizer.
Yeah.
And also not give you Fez. I think it's very cool. Again, there's some issues with the deck for sure. Dustin's an issue. But again, it's one of those decks you just kind of keep seeing have some success online and have some success at tournaments. Again, if I had a lot more time before these other tournaments, I'd probably be spending some more time playing that deck. But it's a deck that I really enjoy, and I think it's solid.
You just want to play your full art Judges. Let's be real.
That is a perk. I didn't really consider that. Actually, now that you mentioned that, I'm going to nix my current deck choice and play full art Judges in my deck.
Sounds good. Yeah.
No, don't do that. Even if you're on a podcast and everyone's trying to talk you into playing one deck, play with.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, that deck. I mean, especially when you can like retreat lock with the Pecharunt. If you need to buy a turn for something, I like that option. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's Raging Bull Ogre Pawn. I've been playing it, and I play with Togekiss just to kind of fix those bad matchups, and it's just a deck that just goes fast and does the thing and attacks. So I like that deck. Yeah, that's all for my questions. You guys have anything to add for the tournaments this weekend?
Just be ready for Iron Thorns if you're going to Latin America.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like the meta's like wide open as always. Get ready to beat Drago, and we probably see some other weird decks along the way.
Yep.
So I'll throw out a question to y'all. One quick prediction, right? Last time in Toronto, we saw 5 Regidragos in top 8, or was it 6?
6.
It was 6 Regidragos in top 8. So
Yeah.
how many Regidragos will we see in top cut of both tournaments combined?
6. Wait, are you saying top 8 or top cut?
Top 8. Top 8 specifically.
6.
So average of 3 in each?
Average of 3 in each, yeah.
Parker, what do you think? You have 10 sets. You have 8? Ooh, big pick.
I'm surprised you didn't go lower.
Eric with 6 for the 2 combined, Rio and Birmingham, and Parker with 8. Put in the comments below if you think it's going to be more or less than 6 or 8. I'll go right in the middle at 7 just for mix it in there.
Just for fun.
Honestly, I kind of want there to be more than 8, but I think it's going to be less than 6.
You want there to be more than 8?
Yeah, I like Regidrago.
Yeah, cool guy.
Yeah, you're right.
He's just a chill guy.
Actually, I want it to be 16. You're right.
So everyone plays Draco.
Yeah, everyone plays Draco. Yeah, to be correct. Fantastic. I would
wild.
like the meta at Arlington to be 98% Draco.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for our discussion about Birmingham and Rio de Janeiro. Those either going, good luck. Hope you have a great finish and have a great time. And we'll see the results and review those next week as we provide an in-depth experience and our look into San Antonio. But next up, we're going to jump into our trivia segment. But before we do, a quick shout out to Nakama Anime Cafe. Thanks for continued support of this podcast. We have a league challenge coming up on January 22nd on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. So if you're looking for a place locally in Jacksonville, Florida and North Florida to come and grab some fun and anime fun and some good food and friends and camaraderie, Nakama's the place to be. We'll be there at 6:30. Deck lists will be required on January 22nd, but hope to see you guys there. All right. This question, I'm sorry in advance.
You are not forgiven.
Well, at least you guys get to work as a team now. It's not like, how it used to be, right?
Yeah,
So we just talked about
total number of letters in every single attack name in that prismatic evolution.
We've been talking about megas this set a little bit as we were waiting, talking about megas.
Oh God, how many megas are there?
How many megas were ever printed?
Wait, printed?
Printed? Yeah. I'll give you, just so not like, I'm not counting like a couple of Charizards. I counted like one of each.
Because there's
Um,
Charizard X and
right,
Charizard Y.
right.
And
So
12 arts of each of them.
yeah,
It's
so
Charizard.
within 3 plus or minus,
Okay.
how many megas were ever
All right.
printed?
All right. I got this. I got this.
All right,
No.
Parker.
All
you
right.
go. I'll add more
Charizard,
support.
Venusaur, Blastoise, and XY. Charizard, Kangaskhan, and Flash
Well, you're
Fire.
doing 2. I'm just 1 Charizard's on my list.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
Kangaskhan.
okay, wait. No, there wasn't a Charizard XY.
Wait,
This
there's
was
one
all
Charizard.
Flash
That's all
Fire.
we need to know.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
one Charizard. Alright, and then Furious Fist was Heracross and Lucario. Phantom Forces was Gengar, Manectric.
You're going too fast because like I can't keep. I'm trying to highlight so I can tell you
Figure
which
it
ones
out,
you
Eric.
missed.
You ask us
Yeah,
the questions,
yeah.
we answer them. Get over it.
All right. Well, I can't tell you which ones you missed because you're going too fast.
Okay. Primal Clash, there was... Okay, wait, did the Primals count?
They got it.
Because they have Mega on the card.
Yeah, they do count.
Okay, alright. Primal
So-
Groudon, Primal Kyogre, Mega Aggron, Mega Gardevoir.
Rayquaza.
Well, that's in Roaring Skies.
Wait, what
Okay,
was
I'll
that?
say
What'd you say
again,
after Aggron?
Aggron, Gardevoir.
Okay.
And then Roaring Skies was 2 different Rayquazas.
Oh wait, I can
guess-
filter by sets here. Hold on. I can see which ones you missed per
Keep
set.
going, Parker. We're keeping
Um,
track.
It was Latios was a Mega.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's one. Gallade. Then crap, what was after Roaring Skies? Ancient Origins. Okay, so Ancient Origins.
You're killing it. We're at 15.
Yeah. I played it a lot during this time. So Ancient Origins, if I remember correctly, didn't have any new ones, but it had reprints of the primals with different abilities or different
Ancient traits or whatever.
ancient traits.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then Breakthrough had Glalie,
It's like Hoenn
Houndoom,
Pokemon. Yeah. Do we have like
And then it had-
Sceptile, Blaziken, and
those are, I think those are.
Swampert?
Oh wait, no, those were in Ancient Origins. Yeah,
So we had
so
3 of them?
Blaziken was a promo, but Sceptile was in Ancient Origins.
Was there a Swampert
Yeah.
too, presumably?
There was a Swampert,
All right, so
yeah.
that's 20.
All right, like crap. That means there's one in Ancient Origins. Oh, fuck.
You're already doing much better than I would have done. I mean, at this point of the game, it'd be anything else from like Hoenn. So I know they had Yeah, actually, I can't even think of it anymore. But
Ancient.
It's crazy how many there are here, honestly.
There is a lot, actually.
if you think there's a few more, we can just lock in a number, and we only need within 3. So I
Well,
think
I need to go through all the sets. So then, yeah, Breakthrough had Glalie, Houndoom, and then the Mewtwo's,
Mewtwo 21.
and then we had Gyarados and Steelix. And there's,
Killing it.
I don't.
He is
Any
killing it.
more than that?
I was just trying to there's so like I know Beedrill was a promo, Absol was a promo.
25.
Okay, so I know I'm missing one from Ancient Origins, so we'll just
Okay.
plus 1 there.
Yes, there's plus
'Cause
1.
I don't
yeah.
think they ever printed just one Mega.
So yeah, so that's if we say 25 and then we add the 1, that puts us at 26.
26.
I might have double counted 1, so we can just say 25. We got to be within 3. I think that's pretty safe.
I think 26 might be safe. Or like I said, Blaziken. Oh, there's Sharpedo and Camerupt. They got printed later. 'cause
I
they-
don't think we could have those before. So 28.
Yeah, 28.
Eric,
Oh.
did you even count these yet?
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember. It's like one more break. I don't remember. But then the set after had Audino
Oh shoot, yeah, Mega Audino, world champion.
That set's name, by the way, was Fates Collide. I'll help you out with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, Fates. Okay, yeah, had Alakazam as well.
Yep.
30.
I feel like I had a third.
If anyone's listening to this that somehow got 30 quicker than Parker, let me know because I'm just impressed.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
Not
Hey,
just
I don't.
guessing 30, but like I have named 30 different ones.
Yeah. Crap. Oh, Altaria. Altaria was one.
Yep. Okay.
Like a Mega Salamence or like Mega
There was a
Lopunny.
promo. Oh, there was a promo of Mega Salamence. Oh, I
Yep.
think of
Too.
it.
Yep.
And there was just Latios, no Latias.
There was no Latias, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of what other megas were there. I'm trying to just think of like megas. Oh, there's a Mega Ampharos. Had the hair. I remember that. Because my friend.
The Luscious
Always-
Locks.
That
My
was
friend-
Ancient Origins.
Okay, that was the one
Oh,
I
so
was
that's the one.
missing.
So 32. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, because my friend top 8 at a cup. He always tells people that, but there were only 8 players at the cup.
Hey, facts are facts. That's all I'm saying.
Facts are facts.
Where's there? I don't think there's a Bennett or Sape.
I mean, all of us made top cut at that one cup in November. All of us made top 8.
Yeah.
There were 7 people at the cup, and we were 3 of them.
All right, so
32. I think we can lock in 32. I think we're pretty close, right?
32. I think we're close.
by my count, I have 27, so I must have missed some that you said.
Promos, maybe.
No, I captured the promos.
Wait, 33. There was a Mega Metagross too.
Show me, what's your list, Eric?
Yeah, wouldn't you like to know?
No, I'm saying we're guessed 32, and you said you
Oh,
have
like
27.
things you have?
We're guessing 33.
33, yeah.
33.
Right. Is that are you guessing
Yes,
33?
that's our guess.
Final answer is 33. Okay.
Been in the segment for too long, just let us guess,
All
man.
right, so 36 or 30, 30 to 36, anything within that range would be acceptable. The answer is 43.
Does this
Holy
include all the
crap!
doubles?
I missed that many.
Again, I'm going to go through the ones I had that you missed, but I know you tagged some of these at some point. Mega Aerodactyl was an XY promo. I don't think you tagged that one.
I thought he said that. Maybe not, but okay.
No, I did not.
The ones you ran through quickly was like Blastoise. I think you said that one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Blastoise,
Yeah.
Venusaur.
Blaziken EX is an
You said
XY
that one.
promo. Okay. Diancie EX was a
Oh,
No one
XY
cares about that
promo.
card, even though it is.
Mega Garchomp EX was an XY promo.
oh, forgot about that one.
Mega Gengar EX and Phantom
We
Forces.
said that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I said that one.
Mega Kangaskhan on Flashfire.
We said that
I
one.
said that one.
Okay. Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff GX.
I actually said Lopunny. I never got confirmation. Did you say
Oh.
Mega Jigglypuff?
Oh, that one wasn't the EX. That was
It's a Mega. I said Mega.
Oh
You
my
said which
gosh.
Mega Pokemon have been printed
Yeah, he
according
did.
to the
He
Mega
did.
attribute.
Mega
sir.
Mawile EX.
Thought I said that one.
Mega Pidgeot EX.
Oh, that one's so fringe play. That's right.
Mega
Evolutions.
Sableye and Tyranitar GX.
Oh, boo.
That don't
Mega
count.
Scizor EX.
Oh, how can I forget that one?
Mega Slowbro EX.
That one sucked. That one
The
was
one
so
you
bad.
missed one from Ancient Origins, which was Mega Tyranitar EX.
Oh, Destroyer King. Oh my
And
god.
then I think you did say Venusaur, so that was
I
it.
did, yeah.
Yeah. So 43.
Boo.
Parker got it right in my book.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, he got a lot. Like that was
Yeah.
that was really impressive. Congratulations, Parker. Pat yourself
Yeah,
on the back.
Cool.
My original question was going to be like, what generation was the Mega in? But I knew that was going to be like knocked out of the park. So I was like, let's make it a little more fun.
Wait, so Robert, you said there were 43 different Pokemon with cards?
43.
Yeah.
Okay,
Only
so there's only
41
40,
of
there's
them.
only 46 different Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. So later, I'm curious what the 3
What's a 3 are?
that aren't. Sure,
Well,
you
you'll
guys
have to
I
tell
can
me.
speak for you. I'm not going to look it up.
Yeah.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, I got to look it up.
Since I
All right.
think Bennett's fun.
Let's move on. Yeah, but that was not on the list. Let's move on to our discussion about the mid-season look at the top 125 standings. I'm not going to be sharing my screen or anything. I'm just going to be running through kind of some data, and then we'll just chat. So, real quick, brace yourselves. I'm about to throw a lot of data at you. I'm going to try to talk slowly and clearly, but I did a pretty good breakdown of some data, and I want to provide all of my findings. So for this
You're getting
exercise,
this for free.
yeah, for free. For this exercise, I used seagrovetcg.com. They have a top X kind of spreadsheet and live leaderboard there. It doesn't calculate local finishes. So I'm just assuming that everyone that's competing for Worlds is going to get all of their local finishes, which will be 260 points. Also, the exercise I am doing is only for the North American standings. All right. So with that being said, here's some findings that I have for you. I took all of the data from all top 125 people that are currently top 125 on Seagrove. Of those players, 22 people have 5 finishes. 38 people have 4 finishes. 55 people have 3 finishes. And 10 people have 2 finishes. The average points per finish across all of those people, all 125, the average points per finish is 104. So that means if you multiply that out times the best finish limit of 5, assuming that everyone gets their 5 and they try to make it as best as they can, because we have 8 more regionals and events in 2025, we should probably expect that to some nth degree that the most people will try to be around that 100 point per finish mark. Now, it could go up and it could go down because more people kind of come in, since there's now going to be more events in North America in the second half of the season, because we have San Antonio, Puerto Rico, Vancouver, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and then unknown location, which we assume is Portland, and then EUIC and NAIC. Those are some big finish events that are going to be there. Puerto Rico is a big one for people that are chasing Worlds. EUIC and NAIC are so 3 very major events this year. So I think, based off of the current data, that if you want to feel somewhat safe, you need to target 760 points total, minimum, to make Worlds this year. That's not saying that 125th will be 760 points. I'm just saying if you want to be in the hunt and you want to be up there, like, between 60 and 100, you probably want to be around that number. So that's kind of what my data shows. What observations have you guys had, or what thoughts do you have off of that data?
I think it's very interesting. Like, shooting for 100 points per event, like, definitely like is possible and stuff. But I feel like that's actually pretty good. Like, that's what, top 64, or is that top 32?
Top 64 to regional.
64,
Top 64, yeah. So, like, obviously you could have a top 8, and that means you only need like top 256s or whatever for the rest of them.
Yeah.
But like averaging top 64, like that's pretty good. You're pretty good at Pokemon if you can do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough, and it's not, like I said, it's not like scientifically, going to be that number, but it seems like that's where, like, especially for someone like me, who I cannot go to North American NS Championship this year because of my life that's happening, right? So if I want to feel safe, I think I for sure need to be at or above that number going into NAIC. So,
yeah.
Max, what's your initial thoughts to that data?
Yeah, again, it's so hard to like speculate on this, and because it's kind of like, again, with this rolling target, we don't really know until we know. I think it's a good look saying what is the average points per finish, and we're saying, hey, it's around that 100. In theory, there's enough events that the people who have 5 finishes could replace finishes and end up with higher than average. 100 points per placement. But at the same time, it's hard to do for everyone. So, for example, I'm just kind of like looking at seagrovetcg.com. Again, it's detailing the major finishes. So if we look at 62 and 63, right, this is in theory half, the top half and the bottom half, like right at the 50-50 mark of the top 125. Again, a lot of this is going to change. We see DC Divos and Jeremiah Schmutz who are both at 300 points, right? So and they have 3 finishes. So again, they're kind of perfectly chalk, 100 points per finish. DC has 160 finish, 100 finish, and a 40 finish, while Jeremiah has 3 100 finishes. So in this case, it's kind of saying, hey, different ways to reach that average of 100 points per regional, one with consistent 64s and one with a spike to I guess it's a top 16, and then and then a top 256 or 512 or something like that. But again, balancing out when you go to enough events. So again, it's kind of hard to say. Like when you look at the standings right now, you look at a lot of these folks that are in the 100 range, and I try to think, okay, how fitting are all these people for the World Championships, right? At 93, we see like Liam Halliburton with 245 points. Solomon Surge, Brandon Salazar. Eric Wright, 106. Like, there's plenty of people we recognize with his name. Even, Cyrus McCain, who's at 220. Like, we recognize some of these names as well. But even if we go to just out of 125, right? We see J.W. Krewall, we see Kobe Kawasaki, we see Aaron Friedman, Brandon Vaughn,
Chris
Jack
Franco,
Carter, some of these people that we've seen before competing at a high level, just on the outside right now. Again, lots of season left, so this isn't indicative of how any of their seasons are going to go. But again, it's just for this, brutal cut saying a lot of these, strong players, it's really going to be selective on who gets to go. Before, when we saw 400, 500 from North America, or how many people went to qualify for Worlds last year? Actually, I think it was like 250 or 260.
Something like it was like close to 300, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So we looked.
I'm actually looking right now.
I'll check real quick. I think it was.
Well, you guys do that. Another interesting tidbit, because I gathered the top 200 data in my spreadsheet. I didn't go much further down. If I include top 200 instead of top 125, the average goes to 92 for a finish. So it doesn't, it really doesn't drop that much, for the average. And then actually, though, the interesting bell curve piece for me is that the people that have 2 finishes have really strong finishes, because the average, there's 10 people that have 2 finishes, and their averages are 147 per finish.
Yeah.
So they have some strong finishes that once they get their other 3 finishes, that they're coming up even higher.
Yep.
Yeah, I would also argue for those people, they don't even need that strong of finishes. I think they just need finishes.
Sure, they just need finishes.
So the highest ranked person with only 2 finishes is Vincent Owen, who has 300 and 125. So is that a finalist appearance? Yeah, so 300. Sorry, top 4, and then what did I just say?
Yeah,
and then top 1 and then 125. So a top 4th
32.
place and a top 32. So so Vincent again might continue on this terrible season that they're having, or they could just go and say, hey, I'm going to get a couple 40, 60, 80 point finishes. That'll lower their average finish. But again, they've done the hardest part, and now they just need a few more points to kind of just beef the numbers.
Right.
Because they're already sitting at 425.
Which is 33rd on the list, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
That's so good.
Am I looking at the right list? Are you
Yeah, you
doing
are.
auto invites? Yeah,
Yeah.
you have auto invites in.
Oh, I have audio invites. Yeah, sorry.
I guess technically we should still maybe consider them in the data, but then just extend the list. But that's harder to do. But
Yeah, it's fine. Well, it moves me up. Hey, yo.
Yeah.
6.
So again, it's gonna be pretty selective on again when we look at the top of the list, when we see those top 20 names. A lot of them are people or people that just recently had a finals appearance or other big finish or things like that that are just doing very, very well or had a very big IC finish type of thing. Everyone after that, though, I think it's really going to be based on who has had the big finishes this season, and who's able to close it out. So
we previously said we kind of had a big episode early at the beginning of the season when the numbers came out that we thought 750 to 850 was that good range to be in, and it seems like that data midway through the season is still kind of holding true. That if you're at 850 or above, you're probably going to be in a really good spot and be great. And it's. These numbers, like Max said, they're very fluid and moving, and maybe, I'm not putting these in order, so let me kind of put these in my order. Oh, they're in order. Maybe after Vancouver, we take a look at this again, because after Vancouver, we have Atlanta, Milwaukee, unknown location, and then NAIC. So take a look after Vancouver and see where this is at. We'll kind of keep you updated as the season goes, but I don't know. I'm just curious on your guys' take on what you think of the top 125 structure and how it's going this season so far. Do we think this is indicative of what we want for Worlds? I mean, you talk about some of those names that were just outside of 125. Do we think this is indicative of what we want for Worlds, or how we feel about that?
Um, so like I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a little more negative. I know that there are people that have stopped playing just purely because there hasn't been a number you can hit and be done with it kind of thing. It's definitely bringing out like the most competitive side of people, but I think the game right now would be even bigger if we didn't have the 125 thing. They just said like, "Hey, 700 gets your invite" or something like that. But I don't know. It's I am not the biggest fan of it. Um, I know I've mentioned the regional points going up, but the BFL being lowered is a good thing. But I don't know.
I think there's a world where a top 125 is fine. I don't know if we live in that world right now, and that's really just because and if you're trying to get competitive in the game, there's like kind of two levels to shoot for. Basically, they're saying, hey, you're getting a world's invite, or you're just good, right? Or hey, I'm trying to do good at a regional, right? The way that things are kind of structured right now is there's no separate bar. And before we said, hey, 600 points for qualifying to worlds is a tough bar, but technically everyone can get there, right? Not everyone that goes to every event, but like if the people who are dedicated can't get there, we're going to run into a lot of cases here where there are very dedicated people who have gotten their world's invite the past several years who don't get it this year. Maybe they didn't have enough time, or they didn't quite do good enough at regionals. And there's one regard where you say, hey, if you didn't do well enough, then you shouldn't, then you don't qualify to be at Worlds. And especially when we compare to like out east, right? In Japan, right, to make the World Championships, it's such brutal requirements, and you have to finish in like top 4 of these 5,000 person tournaments to get an invite. Where it's, in a way, we're lucky that we have a little more control over it in a TPCI system. But at the same time, until there's something else to shoot for, right, there's going to be a lot of people disappointed at the end of the season that, fall in that 125 to 200 or 250 range that we're trying for it, couldn't quite get there. And until we have something else to shoot for, they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I know, like, speaking for myself, it's like that weekend, depending on what happens the rest of the season, that weekend of North American International Championships, I'm just going to be, like, stressing the whole weekend, right? Like not being able to go, like, even if I'm like, let's say I'm like 80th coming into that weekend. Like I could still just miss Worlds because 40 people, have a cracked finish and, propel them. And, and that part sucks. It's not like I want to quit on the season. Like I would want to be at all the events, but, at some point, I think to Parker's point, like there's people that are in this game that have a life outside of Pokemon, and we want them to play this game. We want them, to grow. Um, and discouraging those people, seems bad for the game a little bit. And I think we've heard some rumors of cups and challenges having like lower attendance, later in the season once people have started to got their best finish limit. Versus like me, here I am still trying to get my 4 cup finishes. I have 4 cup finishes. I have 2 first, a second, and a third. Like last season, I would be like, I'm good, right? But now this season, I'm like, okay, I've got to get those 28 points because those 28 points on the leaderboard are things that other people will have that if I don't have, that just puts me at disadvantage, right? So, and it sucks to kind of have that mental, kind of like weighing on you at every cup a little bit, because I'd much rather just be at home, streaming or spending time with my wife, things like that, getting ready for a baby, building a crib, whatever it is that like needs to get done, like getting that garage work done finally that needs to get done. But I've committed to grinding for Worlds for this season, and it's just like until I get those finishes, I just have to keep going to cups because it's a numbers game in the format we're in, right? It has nothing to do with my skill that I got donked game 3 of the cup this weekend, right? I had no control over that. And, that's just the format that we're playing. And I don't know how I feel about it yet. I think I'm hoping that Pokemon, comes out with something for like the people that don't make 125. That whole like here's a reward system for people to get CP that they mentioned at the beginning of the year that we still don't have.
Really?
But I don't know. That's just my personal take.
Yeah, I'm still hopeful to hear something about a championship point reward system there.
Yeah.
So waiting to hear something like that. Again, if there's a bar where you say, hey, if you make it to 500 championship points, you're a top trainer, and you get, it could be, I got you get a code to get a new outfit in PTCG Live. It could be something as minimal as that, but at least there's like something to kind of like show for there. And again, I think we just need no information about this, but I kind of want to go back earlier, like a thought that was developing as you're kind of talking through it, and talk about, we talk about grinding for worlds, right? A grind. I don't want to go to these cups, but I have to go to this cup. In a way, like maybe the point system and saying there's a threshold has gotten Pokemon players as away from saying, hey, I want to, right? We're saying, hey, I need to get 600 championship points to qualify for the World Championships. Is that a less healthy mindset than someone who sits and say, hey, I want to be one of the best Pokemon players in, the country or in the world? Is that mindset different, right? Someone who, and again, if we're in this grinding mindset of, I need to go to these cups, can you get these points, rather than, I'm going to these tournaments as a chance to compete and to prove myself. It's kind of me thinking is like, if it's a way that, some of us world's grinders, are maybe looking at this the wrong way. Or again, at the same time, I think I find myself grinding for worlds or targeting for that, since that is like the one goal to actually shoot for. Until there's something else there, but then maybe it needs to be searching back within myself and saying, hey, my goal is to win a regional or to get back into another top 8 or to, play this fun deck to the highest and get the highest possible finish I can get with it. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe there needs to be something else to shoot for, or maybe the community needs to like realign to how we actually think about things.
Yeah, no, I think that's very valid. And I think the thoughts you're having about like, hey, being the best you can be, et cetera, they've aligned really well at the regional and IC level. Like the 5 best finish limit and like the point structure, I feel like they've nailed it right now. My personal opinion, I think the way the higher end rewards better finishes, nailed. The problem I have is the local finishes. I'm playing against Billy Bob in Texas that has a 3-person cup, and he can just easily get his 4 cup finishes, right? That's not fair to someone that has to play in 20, 30, 40-person cups every weekend and gets the same amount of points that Billy Bob gets for winning a 3-person cup, right? Now, if you want to have cups have different tiers, because like regionals do and kickers and things like that, sure, right? But because it's a static number, that's my issue with the top 125. Like in a perfect world, they just obsolete that number, but they can't because we got to support local game stores, and I support local game stores, and we want to have that, right? But it just sucks because I talk to people and I'm like, hey, I won a 3-person cup this week, and I'm like, cool, dude. I got docked in top 4 of a 20-person cup, and I had no control over it.
Well, so go ahead, Parker.
I was gonna say, like, I don't know, 20-person cup to me is still small.
It is. It was a smaller cup.
When cups first came out, like, I won 101-person cup.
Right.
Like my cup wins were like 45 people, 101 and like 50 something person. Like the first few cups were out. Yeah. So like 20-person cup, I'm like, that's tiny.
Yeah. But, no, it was great.
But like it's big compared to a lot of cups now, and like it's really good that tons of stores are getting them. But it's just like a ton of people.
I just think there needs to be some type of equalizer across all cups that we don't have it currently.
Yeah, one of my suggestions was like have a little bit extra points for each additional round over 5. I think that would be like kind of a cool thing. So like 6th round, you get 10 more for winning, 10 more for second, and then like 8 more for 3rd and 4th or something. Like
encourage people to go to these bigger cups in the theory, right?
Kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, not even encourage that. Just being like, you played more people, possibly better people.
You had more variance you had to experience. You had to overcome more things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in terms of like balancing the top 125, there still needs to be a cup, like possible points at locals limit. But we could go and say a structure which says, okay, hey, if you're at a cup greater than 32 people, well, now the payout is 50 points for first, and then and then it's 40 for less than that, and it scales that way. And we say, hey, you can finish up to and say the smallest cup, right? Say you're right, you have a 4-person cup. Maybe for winning that you get 25 points, but your BFL is 8. So it says, hey, if you win 8, 4-person cups, then you get it. Or there's other opportunities where you say, okay, well, hey, I got I played in much larger cups and I didn't quite do as well, but then I got these points there. Again, I like anything we need to, if we wanted to shift that and shift the points, we need to do it in a way that we're not isolating the smaller communities.
Sure.
So there's an area where say, hey, there's only a smaller area where there's only a couple cups in that area. We don't want players to have to go too far out of the way. Again, some could say if you're going for the World Championships, should you be going to bigger cups? Or I would say if you do well enough at regionals, you don't even need that. So do we need local points to play in the World Championships? But then we need to support locals. So like all these issues feed on each other. I'm at least happy that there's like something that works now. And the way I view it is like the areas that have lots of people show up for cups, it's usually indicative of the size of the scene, which means there's a lot more cups. So for those small person cups, it's very rare that it says, oh yeah, we have 20 cups in my city and all of them have 4 people, right? I mean, at least in Florida, it says, hey, yeah, we probably have 60 cups a quarter in Florida.
Probably.
And each of them range somewhere from 10 to 100 people, and hope you find the right ones on the right day type of thing.
Yeah. Interesting conversation. We'll see what where it drives, and if more changes come next season. But we'll continue to follow along with top 125, and maybe we'll do another check-in after Vancouver.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good check-in. But I think that's gonna put a wrap on this episode. Unless you guys got anything else to add.
I think.
Okay. Well, that's gonna do it for this week's episode of the Beach Court Podcast. We'll be back next week with our in-depth review of the San Antonio Regional Championships. We'll provide our meta breakdown, our tier list, our meta predictions, all those things next week episode. You can expect that early, probably coming out Tuesday or Wednesday of the week of the regional. We have to record on Monday. What's that?
I said we got to make sure you're ready for San Antonio. And good luck to everyone going to Birmingham and Rio this weekend.
Yep. So make sure you press the like, subscribe below. That way you can continue to get this content from us weekly. And for those of you listening on the audio platforms, I hope you're enjoying the new upgrades that we've recently implemented. We'd love your feedback on Twitter. There is a post over there if you can come and tell us your feedback. Till next time, that's going to do it for all of us. See you then.